Welcome back. Look at this. We're on time 2 nights in a row. Hell has frozen over once again. How many times does that happen, huh? Nah, we fixed all of our snags. We're good to go. Welcome to Mysterious Forces Live. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you're all having a good holiday weekend. I know it's busy and crazy out there, and everyone loves the Labor Day weekend. And I hope you're having fun. Be safe while you have fun. Tonight is very special. I have an author on. Her name is Loren Blowers, and she's the author of the Stingwishers series. And we'll be talking to her. We'll be talking to her about her first book, the project that she's working on right now. And we'll also be talking about Disclosure Con, because both of us are going to be there. And speaking of Disclosure Con, the tagline for Disclosure Con is where sci-fi and sci-reality collide under one roof. It's going to be a collection of ufology people and also kind of like costume contests and just science fiction fan in general. And also one of the themes of the convention is how science fiction has impacted real life. For example, the iPad. If you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation and you saw them making adjustments and sending commands through the tablet, you know, the next thing you know, give it 20 years and now we have iPads. So science fiction has impacted the real world, and I think it's always for the better. And I'll have a table at Disclosure Con. Please come and see me. Come and say hello. There's going to be a photo op at my table. It will be free of charge. And I want to show you something. This is, I showed this last night. This is the Roswell Rhodes, and there were only 120 of these guitars made in the 1990s. I want you to see, I don't know, it might blow it out. The fret markers are crop circles. That's an all aluminum body. The volume knob looks like a UFO. That's a very rare guitar, highly collectible. You will not see one of these guitars outside of a collector's collection or some kind of music instrument museum. There's just not a lot of them out there. And you'll be able to come back behind the table and pose with the guitar and take selfies, or I'll take a picture of you with your phone or your camera, and can take that and show it to all your friends. So that'll be a lot of fun. Come and see me. I'll have some swag at my table, and I will have the guitar, and I'm also going to have the puppet that we were talking about with Scott Finsterer last night. I'm having an alien puppet created, and we're going to go do some live streaming fun with that around the venue, and that'll be a blast. I do want to talk just for a second about something. I've changed the format of the show just a little bit. I've gotten rid of the middle section, the trivia section. Our viewership is not large enough yet for me to get proper feedback through social media for those trivia questions. So we're going to put that on ice, and we're just going to focus on our guests for now. And as our viewership increases, we'll maybe revisit the idea of the other trivia questions. But for now, we're just going to keep it like it is. Loren, hello.
Yes,
welcome
hello.
to the show.
Thank
How are
you.
you doing tonight?
Happy to be here. Great. Just enjoying Labor Day with my friends. Stepped into the office here for a fun interview.
Cool. So you're having a little soiree there in Los Angeles?
I am. And I stayed sober just for you.
Oh, that's you didn't have to do that.
It's over.
Well,
yeah, I'm gonna
drink heavily over the next 25 minutes, and
I shall.
The end of the show could be amazing. You never know.
Will do.
Before we get into any our 5 questions in 5 minutes, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Stingwishers book series and the premise of it?
Well, it is the adventures of a USC med student and hardcore partier. So you have an LA party girl who's been abducted on her 21st birthday. She's in the USC morgue preparing an anatomy lab for the next day's students. And the aliens, the Toltorame, are there as well, up to their own mischief. I was a USC student, and I just happened to have been in the morgue on frequent occasions. So she's abducted on her 21st birthday. She's intoxicated at the time, and she wakes up in their alien lair, and thus begins her journey as an unlikely hero. They believe she's the savior of their dying race.
Very cool. And you had a table at Alien Con in Pasadena a couple of months ago, correct?
Yes, it was wonderfully successful. Absolutely great experience. I was right next to David Childress, and
very nice.
Great convention.
Yeah, it's fun to get out there and meet the fans and interact with people. I think that's a blast. I'm looking forward to that at Disclosure Con as well. Well, are you ready to play 5 questions in 5 minutes?
Yes. Should I have some scotch?
You should. You should always have some scotch.
A little scotch for the 5 questions. Here I go.
It'll be fine. You'll have fun. It's stuff that we both like and know about. You and I have some of the same tastes in this stuff. So I know that you're a cigar aficionado. I'd like to know, what got you into smoking cigars?
My grandfather, my German grandfather. My mother never knew this, but when I was young, we would go in his basement. That sounds creepy. He was a completely awesome guy. So he taught me to play pool. We listened to records on his little 75, I think it was back then. And he let me smoke cigars and drink scotch. So to this day, I'm a scotch drinker, cigar smoker, and I'm not as good at pool as I am drinking cigars and smoking cigars and drinking scotch. I've had a few, maybe, but yeah, started as a girl, actually.
Reminds me of Pat Travers. Snorting whiskey and drinking cocaine.
Yes.
So do you ever cut to the chase? Do you ever cut to the chase and just like roll a blunt, or is it just strictly cigars?
Well, okay, that's a fun question. I don't, but I did have an interesting experience with edibles on a camping trip recently. Am I allowed to tell you about that? This is question 2.
No, it's still the first
somebody
question.
asked me if I wanted a gummy bear. I thought maybe they were talking about Haribo. And I ate a gummy bear. And the next 2 days, I was checked out. But I'm not good. Cannabis and I don't mix well.
It's not for everybody. Use your cannabis responsibly, viewers.
Yes.
Or like my friend Jiggy, a Paranormal Hood, just smoke the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Jiggy, hi. I love you. Jiggy, you're on the show soon. Watch Paranormal Hood. I promote the hell out of Jiggy. Him and I got to be good friends at Contact in the Desert, and he's one of my favorite people out there. So I'm always throwing him some props.
Yes.
But, if you're at Disclosure Con, feel free to bring me gummy bears. It's okay.
Okay, I got a line on them.
Not you, but the viewers.
Oh, okay.
I'm always down for some gummy bears. Come take a picture, get a sticker, and give me some gummy bears. Okay, we'll move on. Name 3 reasons why LA is better than Orange County.
Well, of course, I'm in LA.
I live in Orange County, and I have friends in Orange County, so I know that rivalry exists, and I thought I'd poke that.
We've got LA and Orange County. Wow, that's a tough competition. Disneyland, medieval times.
Yes.
Are those 3 reasons? Huntington Beach.
Well, I'm looking for
Huntington Beach, Orange County.
LA is better than Orange County. What makes Los Angeles better than OC?
I think I'm stumped. I like OC.
I would guess.
I like OC.
LACMA.
What do you think?
I think the art museums, there's good food in Orange County. I'm not going to say there's not, but there's some amazing food in Los Angeles.
Truly, LA has more of a city hum. I like LA because I'm a city girl.
I like LA too.
Theater. I like the ballet. I like I do like the beach up here, county line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we trump Orange County. County is more of a family.
It is. It's yeah,
Oriented.
it's a little more mainstream, and LA is a little more wild. And I personally lean towards wild, even though now I'm with my partner. I live out in the high desert of Arizona, and it's a lot different than Orange County or LA.
Yeah.
So I know that you're a big Star Trek fan. I know that you're a big sci-fi fan, and we spoke earlier a little bit about the Kelvin timeline in the Star Trek movies, and that's the J.J. Abrams iteration with Chris Pine and everyone else. And you know, Trekkers are awfully picky sometimes, and
we are very picky.
Yeah. What's your take on the Kelvin timeline? Do you like it? Do you accept it?
I'm on board, and it's not just because Chris Pine is astoundingly hot. I absolutely loved it, and I was a skeptic. I could not relate to Star Trek: The Next Generation. Nothing against Patrick Stewart, but for somebody to step into, and this sounds very scientific, but I grew up with Star Trek, William Shatner, Captain Kirk, and to me, it was just, the whole thing was iconic. It was just, I lived for those shows. You know, it was maybe the cornerstone of some of my science fiction love. You know, when I was a little girl, I watched that. So to me, Chris Pine stepped into the role, that flamboyant yet genius role that William Shatner played.
He was slightly Shatner-esque.
He was, and he took it into a more serious tone, where I think it's more maybe in step with today's science fiction fans. And the early Star Trek was definitely part of my childhood, and you accepted things that were sort of over the top when I was young, because William Shatner, to me, perfected overacting. Right. It was just so appealing. You forgot that it was a little bit over the top. Right. And I still adore him. I adore him to this day. Still. Oh yeah,
no, he's funny. Some of his musical projects. He worked with a bass player that I'm a fan of. This guy's name is Billy Sherwood, and he was friends with Chris Squire, who was the bassist of Yes. And I'm hugely into progressive rock and the band Yes. And Chris passed away, but he wanted Billy Sherwood to replace him. And he did. And then Billy Sherwood did a whole produced an album for William Shatner. And they went out and played some of that. And I think they were down in San Juan Capistrano or down in San Clemente somewhere. And it was a good time. Yeah. So what are three of the most influential science fiction authors for you? Who really inspired you?
Definitely Ray Bradbury. Arthur C. Clarke, and Robert Heinlein.
Those are three of the best ones. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
are there any particular books from those guys, the ones that stood out?
Clarke's Childhood's End was a transformative book for me. I'll never forget it. I loved it. Just the whole thing. Bradbury, almost everything he wrote spoke to me. I've read all of his books and reread them. They just never get old for me. So,
that's cool.
And I was always submerged in comic books as well. So
are you a DC universe or a Marvel universe girl?
I don't care what universe. All universes are good. If you got a good story, I don't care what universe it comes from.
Yeah. I'm hearing a little bit of weird reverb feedback.
Okay.
I don't know which end it's on.
I'll turn my mic down here just a touch. I don't want to lose your voice though.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, we don't. That's fine. Weird things happen with the internet. I've noticed that. And you get two people online and there's just sometimes weird
I think I'm
issues.
too close. Should I back up?
So are you working on volume 2 of the Stingwisher?
I am.
Is it the Stingwisher or is
It's
it
the
the
Stingwisher.
Stingwishers?
And the
No S.
Stingwisher is a gender slur.
Okay.
It is a translation of an alien word, and we have racial slurs, so this is a gender slur.
Okay.
I'm coming forward with that spoiler alert, that you'd know that if you read book 1, but I'm assuming that that's not too much of a giveaway. The Stingwisher is the title of the series, and Cigar Smoking Jerks from Outer Space is book 1. Book 2 is Beast on Board, and so.
When can fans expect to see volume 2?
I'm hoping 2019 for sure. I mean, I'm for sure. I've got it drafted. I need to get it to edit, and I'm wrapping up the last couple chapters. I'm a hopeless perfectionist, but I do want to give my readers even a more rich experience than book 1. Book 1, maybe because I'm a new author, I think authors are careful in their first book. And Stephen King is one of my literary messiahs. I love him. Right?
Absolutely. He's amazing.
He's amazing. And I know he says it's not about perfection, but when you're not Stephen King, you can obsess over being as perfect as you can because you reach for that. But science fiction, I think, as you're a sci-fi fan, science fiction readers are brighter and they're more demanding of their authors. They want detail, they want background, they pick over fine points, and so I want it to be like that for my readers. Also fun. I cut loose in book 2, to be quite frank.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Yeah. I think a good series does that, kind of builds on the success of the first one and just kind of propels the characters forward, puts them in different situations.
Yeah.
I watched an introductory video on your website today, and it was at the point where you had some T-shirts and some other products and things like that, some packages that you were sending out. I don't know when that was. Are you going to have swag at Disclosure Con at your table this year?
I am. I'm ramping up for that and getting an online store. We were unexpectedly successful at Alien Con. I really didn't know what to expect there, and we did sell out of some of the products that I brought. So right now I'm working with a lady who's putting together all my swag, and I have a lot of fun stuff. I'm not going to tip my hat on that yet, but it'll be up on my Facebook, my website before Disclosure Con, and then I'm going to just bring a lot of stuff for the fans and the convention attendees at Disclosure Con.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that. We'll have to hang out there. I'm going to be doing some live streaming, and I'm going to roam around the venue, and we'll have to hang out, maybe do another interview there.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. Let's see. And what were some of the favorite features of Alien Con in Pasadena? I saw a lot of pictures, but it was so close to Contact in the Desert, I just couldn't do both events. And it looked really impressive. And I just wonder if you could tell me a little bit about it. I wasn't there and I didn't get to see it.
Well, I was one of the most enjoyable things was how welcomed everybody was. We talked about community, you and I, and the most rewarding thing is when you come forward with a work or, for example, maybe personal alien encounter experiences, and you're welcomed. You're not only welcomed, you're embraced, right? Into a group of people that don't think you're nuts, are like-minded, are open-minded. Not only do they like the fiction aspect of science fiction, but they're completely on board with genetics and where real life science is going. My book series is based on some genetics. I was at USC Med And so there's to me, science fiction, good science fiction work has science in it, has
Right.
fact-based or ultimately fact-based science in it. So to me, it was just the overwhelming response. I drove up the first day. I couldn't even get near the convention center to park. There was a line completely around the block. David was right next to me. I'm a huge fan. Giorgio was just, I could see him. I get chills just thinking about it. The energy, Natasha, was amazing. The people were so thrilled to have us. And that was a charge.
Yeah, no, that's a good feeling. The same thing happened at Contact, and I met Giorgio briefly at Contact as well. Yeah. And I think that same kind of vibe and that same kind of energy is going to transfer over to Disclosure Con.
Absolutely.
Disclosure Con is a new convention, and it's in a different location, but there's going to be, I think, 2 different costume contests. And there's going to be some ufologists speaking. And I like the whole cosplay thing. I don't really do it myself, but I really enjoy it as in terms of eye candy. And when other people do it, they do such a fantastic job with it. And
I felt we could have used that more at Alien Con.
Yeah.
In Pasadena. The first Alien Con 2 years ago was just a big, great experience. And it was a party. So I like to have a good time. There were a lot of cosplayers at the first one. But the second one, it was definitely more serious, but just as enthusiastic. So I'm looking forward to some people that want to let their hair down and put their antennas up and have a good time. So what are you going to dress up as? Oh, you're not going to dress up?
I don't know. I might put together a costume. You know, it's close enough to Halloween. I might work something up.
If you do, I will.
Okay, deal.
Okay,
I'll let you know. I'll get a hold of you.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I just really want to meet viewers and meet the attendees. And Doc Skinner is the organizer of Disclosure Con, and he is a hoot. He has a show of his own as well. And he's going to be the guest on the show tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, I'll be talking to Doc Skinner. Yeah, that'll be a good show. And he's put this together, and I think it's going to be a really good time. And I really want to encourage people to, if you can't attend in person, please keep an eye on the channel. I'll be doing spontaneous live streams from Disclosure Con, and I'll give some advance notice on social media. You know, check out my Facebook page, check out Twitter. I'll be on those social platforms, staying in touch with people, and I'll give people a heads up on what we're going to do. And Loren, part of what you probably didn't see last night, I'm having Scott Finsterer, who is one of the contestants from season 9 of Face Off. He's creating an alien puppet for me. And I'm going to go around with this puppet and create some mischief live on the air. So we'll see what happens with that. I really want to, I don't know, just get out there and just have fun, get people to lighten up and get some spontaneous
Maybe you can do one of my aliens one day.
Absolutely. No, he's a great special effects artist. Yeah. So what are some of your social media platforms? Where can people find your work?
Well, I'm just sort of getting off the ground as far as social media goes, and pursuing X has helped me because it was the grassroots, and by grassroots, I just mean me. And I'm not social media savvy at all. I wasn't really on social media until late in my book publishing, which means recently. But I have Instagram, the Stingwisher. I have Facebook, which is the Stingwisher, and then Loren Blowers, just my personal page. And I do have Twitter, but I don't tweet really very much. But I'm trying to get with the swing of social media. It's new to me.
Yeah, I understand that. I was the same way. Like I had not really messed around on Twitter, but and I did it for the show. But then once I started checking it out, I really started to enjoy it. It's kind of quick and fast paced, and
yes,
that's the attractive part of that. And I think in some ways there's no denying the power of Facebook. It's like, the whole data mining thing. I'm not a fan of that. I think Facebook has had some serious missteps, but at the same time, I cannot deny that a lot of my friends are there, a lot of my family are there, and it's just a really effective way to reach a lot of people. So, I do it. I go there. It's not so much my obsession with how I spend but I like interacting with people, and I want to do that with the viewers. So as the viewership of this show grows, I'm hoping to get a lot more interaction, real-time stuff. And I'll start throwing out some live streams. Yeah. Did you find it hard to go from, being an author is kind of a solitary endeavor? You kind of, do it in an office, or, it's kind of a low key activity, but then having to come out and interface with the public and meet people, has that been a challenge for you, or
it's been excruciating? Should I be that candid? And that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the public. My first book event, which was a little convention in Sacramento.
Okay.
I was so nervous that I couldn't drive. I'd have a friend drive me. I got there, and I thought, I decided if I sell one book, I'll consider myself successful, because I was so nervous. Nobody's going to buy my book. Nobody's going to come to my table. People, I was scared to death. And a lady came up to me first thing, and she said, "How much is your book?" And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because I want to buy it." And I was so nervous, I couldn't remember the price of my book, which P.S. was printed on the back of the book, which I couldn't remember either. I had to look my book up on Amazon to get the price to give her. And that's Bobby Vargo, my first book purchaser. And she works for H&R Block. So I plug H&R Block. I sign all my books with an H&R Block pen, because my first book sale publicly 1-to-1. And that was it. She just made me feel like I wasn't going to be hated. And I'm not used to, you're right, I'm used to sitting in a room, which I enjoy. Not everybody could tolerate that. So I was terrified. And what I find overwhelmingly is that people are very nice. And
they are.
I appreciate that. When you see me, if whoever's watching this, whenever, please approach. I'm probably more frightened than you are. I want to,
You're very personable.
Yeah.
You're very personable. You're doing a great job here. This is fun talking to you, and I think the premise of your book is really interesting. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Actually, I want to get a copy of it. Where can people find a copy of your book? Are you selling on Amazon, or where's it available?
iTunes, Barnes and Noble. I did receive acceptance to be in the Barnes and Noble store. I'm hoping that Lori and Michael are going to help me with that, because just getting the second project done, real life is getting the second book done and all these other things. Thank God I have Lori and Michael in my corner now to help me, because spinning all those plates is very difficult. And
it is.
That.
It's very difficult. I'm indebted to them too. I want to give a couple shout outs as I close the show. I don't know who you are, but you work at Torrid, and you hooked my partner up with some new clothes for me for tonight. Thank you. Jiggy, Paranormal Hood. Hello, how are you? I want to say hello to some of my other friends, Richard and Tracy Dolan, Lori, Professor Moriarty. Thank you for your help. I couldn't do this without you. You can find the show on Twitter at My Forces Live. You can find me on Instagram, Mysterious Forces Live, Snapchat, My Forces Live, and Facebook, of course, Mysterious Forces Live. Please drop me a line. And if you like the show, hit the like button. please subscribe, hit the bell, get notifications so you know when a new episode is coming up. Keep an eye out for some pre-recorded audio interviews that are going to be coming out over the next week. I'm getting those things out and you can check them out. So that's some bonus content that you can find during the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Loren Blowers, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Tune in tomorrow. We have Doc Skinner, Disclosure Con, October 5th and 6th in Pine Top, Arizona. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a safe weekend. Have fun.